future-proofing lifestyle builds and safeguards happiness, health, and wealth for families across generations. What is professional fitness?
Highly ambitious professionals rarely fail because they lack intelligence or opportunity. Instead, their internal systems buckle at the exact moment their career strategies begin to work. In mechanical engineering, a system fails when the load exceeds its structural integrity. In a career, success increases pressure faster than it increases capacity. When results wobble under this pressure, the instinctive response is to look outward. We buy a new course, hire a consultant, or chase a new certification to solve the plateau. Upgrading tactics while ignoring internal fitness is like installing advanced software on unstable hardware. The system functions briefly, then the hardware overheats. These failures suggest a specific sequence. The professional must upgrade structurally before any new tactic can yield a sustainable result. The profit upgrade law is a formula. Profit equals UPF times PSF times time. UPF, Universal Professional Fitness, includes foundational standards like responsibility, integrity, decision, execution, discipline, learning, and renewal. It's the engine. PSF, Profession-Specific Fitness, is your alignment with specific role demands. Time is the multiplier. It is a neutral force that compounds whatever fitness or unfitness currently exists within the system. In this calculation, a single zero collapses the entire output. Effort cannot compensate for a total failure in one of these core structural variables. Experience does not naturally correct a professional weakness. Left alone, time acts as an honest force that rewards fitness and exposes unfitness. This graph tracks two professionals with identical skills. In year 1, a minor lapse in discipline is nearly invisible. By year 5, that gap has compounded, and the divergence in their trajectories is absolute. Responsibility serves as the ignition for this system. It requires a distinction between fault, which looks backward at causes, and responsibility, which is the forward-looking ability to respond to a situation. Professionals who explain away failures through external variables pay a victim tax. Every excuse implicitly transfers agency to a factor the professional cannot control. This erodes authority and makes the professional a liability to stakeholders. What is avoided today, time will own tomorrow. Accepting responsibility is the only way to retain control over the system's output. In the profit operating system, integrity is a measure of structural consistency. Like a bridge, a professional has integrity if their behavior remains reliable when the pressure of a crisis is applied. Compromising a standard to save a short-term deadline creates integrity debt. This debt introduces fatigue into the system that eventually leads to a total collapse. During the 1982 Tylenol crisis, Johnson & Johnson chose to prioritize their standards over their quarterly earnings. They absorbed a $100 million loss to recall 31 million bottles of their product. This decision to maintain reliability under extreme inconvenience resulted in long-term market dominance. They paid the price of integrity upfront. This chart proves the math of a zero multiplier. If integrity hits zero, the entire equation collapses. The market eventually prices reliability into a professional's value. You cannot out-earn a zero in integrity. Reliability requires velocity. Professionals often stall their momentum by holding open mental loops, which drains the system's cognitive RAM in the name of gathering more data. This happens when we confuse thinking, an open-ended exploration, with deciding, the act of killing options to force movement. In 1985, Intel was losing millions on memory chips. Andy Grove asked what a new CEO would do if the founders were fired. Gordon Moore realized a new leader would exit the memory business immediately. By making that decision, they saved the company and pivoted to microprocessors. Often, the answer is already known. Deciding is simply the courage to act on the data that already exists. Specialized success requires moving beyond universal standards. The danger here is context blindness, treating career advice as a universal vitamin rather than a specific prescription drug. Fitness is contextual. A sumo wrestler and a marathon runner are both elite athletes, but if they swap arenas, they both fail. Their specific mass and endurance profiles are incompatible with the wrong game. Moving fast and breaking things is a requirement for a software founder, but it is a criminal failure for a civil engineer. We use the PAX framework to design this contextual fit, analyzing the specific persona, attitude, clarity, knowledge, and skills the role demands. Marco, a master chef, illustrates the cost of a mismatch. When he opened multiple restaurants to scale, he transitioned from the role of maker to the role of manager. Marco continued to micromanage every plate, applying maker physics to a manager's game. This created role debt, where his old identity caused the new system to grind to a halt. Effort only becomes effective when it is aligned with the physics of the specific role. The final constraint of any operating system is its battery. Treating energy as an infinite resource is biological illiteracy. Burnout occurs when recovery protocols fail and energy debt accumulates. The system eventually forces a reset. In 1970, the crew of Apollo 13 had to manage a rapidly depleting battery to survive their return to Earth. Mission Control ordered a power-down protocol, shutting off non-essential heaters and computers to preserve the battery for the re-entry burn. Renewal is an active reset. It is a process that restores clarity, ensuring the professional has the cognitive power required for their most critical moments. Borrowing energy from tomorrow to finish a task tonight creates a debt cycle that leads to a systemic crash. Managing energy is a requirement for long-term execution. When the engine of universal fitness is housed in a chassis designed for the role, the system moves smoothly. An amateur relies on the weather of their internal motivation. A professional designs an operating system to maintain a consistent climate. The calculus is final. You cannot out-earn a zero in fitness. Enforce your standards, align with your role, and allow time to compound the results.
Future-proofing lifestyle builds and safeguards happiness, health, and wealth for families across generations. And we are proud to introduce our third book, Profit, the Professional Fitness.
Join the community for free trial and access the books.